President Trump announced a shakeup in his re-election team. The campaign's manager is being demoted and replaced. ABC's Inez de la Catera has the details from Washington.
Good morning, Kenneth. With less than 4 months until Election Day, President Trump is announcing a major change to his re-election team. The president demoted longtime manager Brad Parscale. It comes amid a string of botched efforts to reboot his campaign amid the ongoing pandemic, including his June rally in Tulsa, where only a third of the arena was filled. And just last week, the president's team again failed to reboot its campaign, canceling a rally in New Hampshire, citing weather concerns publicly, while privately, campaign officials tell ABC News they were fearful of a repeat of Tulsa. Trump promoted the deputy campaign manager, Bill Stepien, to the new role of manager. Parscale will stay on the team. Sources say he was informed of the change by the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. The Biden campaign is seizing on this, saying, quote, "Almost 140,000 Americans have lost their lives and millions more have lost their jobs because of Donald Trump's failed leadership. The Trump campaign's game of musical chairs won't fix this."
The man didn't even have the balls to demote his campaign manager. He had to go get his lackey, Jared Kushner, to do it, even though Kushner is the one who hired Brad Parscale. It's hard to overstate, though, how bad of a sign it is for Donald Trump, how reckless, how indicative of tumult it is that Trump is firing his campaign manager when the general election is less than 4 months away. And he's the incumbent president. He's supposed to have every single advantage. He's supposed to have a tight ship, a great operation. Of course, it's Donald Trump, so that's not the reality. But, I almost feel for Parscale. Not exactly. He's a terrible guy, too. But it's an impossible job, working for an impossible man, doing the impossible task of trying to sell this impossible man to a public that's experiencing an economic collapse, a pandemic, mass joblessness, people losing their health insurance and unable to access healthcare left and right. Yeah, I don't envy that task, but there's a reason behind all of this dysfunction, and it's Trump himself. It's the hiring process, and it's also the product, the result of his leadership. You can't sell this to anybody, and the poll numbers are reflecting it. The move comes as Mr. Trump's advantages as an incumbent president have eroded in the face of a pandemic that has killed over 137,000 Americans and battered the nation's economy, once Mr. Trump's most powerful argument for re-election. Several new polls released Wednesday showed Mr. Trump trailing the presumptive Democratic nominee, Joseph R. Biden Jr., by double digits, and in one of them, 62% of respondents said they believed Mr. Trump was hurting rather than helping efforts to combat the pandemic. Mr. Parscale, who was handpicked by Mr. Kushner and who was close to the Trump family, lasted longer in the job than most of the people who led various iterations of Mr. Trump's 2016 campaign. Campaign aides emphasized that Mr. Parscale was being asked to stay on, unlike others who have been let go from the Trump orbit. But Mr. Parscale has no background in politics, and he suffered something of a mortal wound in the role 3 weeks ago when a much-hyped rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma to reboot Mr. Trump's campaign was sparsely attended. Shocker. Hiring sycophants from within the Trump orbit without any strategic or political background wasn't a good idea. But again, not even the most well-schooled campaign worker, manager, political operative could save this sinking ship right now. I'm very pessimistic, but optimistic myself. Pessimistic for Trump's chances. I don't see how he can come back from this. And in 2016, I thought it was a coin flip. Here, it's looking like Biden is gonna skate towards the presidency, to be honest with you.